It's a pretty scary thought. We know that in our world, those things, that money has to get us by from day to day, week to week, month to month. And maybe we would feel a little bit better if we knew the ending of the widow's story. If we knew on the backside of this that she goes out and bingo, she wins the lottery. Or that she's going home to her own little room in a much larger house where her son-in-law and daughter are taking care of her and making sure she has plenty of food to eat and a roof over her head. Maybe we would feel better if we knew that there was a whole community around her that cared about her and made sure she never went without. The reality is, we don't know the end of her story, which invites us more deeply into this moment about what does it mean to give without any expectation of blessing on the backside. That we are giving from the very, very fiber of our being, believing that miracles, believing that promises, believing that hope happens on the other side. Talk about the widow's might. Stepping out boldly. But it's easier for us to stand in that middle ground. Perhaps we are not like the chief priests or the governors who walk around in flowing robes, being treated to all of the best meals and all of the fineries. But oftentimes we're also not the widow. So we find ourselves there in the middle, trying to figure out what this looks like for us. How do we give fully and richly? How do we give abundantly from what we have? Trusting that God provides and will see us through. Trusting that there is something for us in our giving. Rather than holding tight to what we have, we open our hands to say, here am I, and here is what I have to offer. We are invited into that conversation today. Now, oftentimes, we like to think that stewardship comes once a year. And here at Calvary, we've shifted it from the fall over to the spring. And that's when the pastor and that's when the people in the congregation are supposed to get up and talk about stewardship. We like to box it in. That way, if you're going to miss a Sunday, you know which Sunday is going to be about stewardship. And that's, if we just give a little bit and we know things are going along, we don't have to worry too much about it. But what happens when we begin to think about stewardship not as one Sunday in the spring or even as our Lenten home gatherings, but we think about stewardship as the offering of our lives and all that we have every single day? That becomes the powerful and wonderful witness of the widow's mite. We don't know that she was showing up on Passover or Shabbat. We don't know that she was showing up on Hanukkah or Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. We're thinking it's just an everyday. And she stands in line with all of the others, and she presents herself in the temple, saying, here I am, and here's all that I have. Take it. Use it. And Jesus lifts her up as one who is to be a model for us. So today, we celebrate that widow's mite. That one who could be easily on the margins, forgotten about, ignored. And we think about what she calls us to do and who she calls us to be. As people who work and struggle to live faithfully and to hold that tension between the spiritual and the material.